You're listening to Podcast PXN,
a video game podcast
delivering player experience news.
Let's go!
What's up, guys, and welcome to Podcast PXN, episode 234. I am one of your hosts, Daniel Prindle, aka Dan is DTM on, yes, still Twitter, and I am joined over Discord by the Nintendo aficionado and artist extraordinaire, Roshan Warner, at Roro.
Hello, hello. Today's topic of the show is Stellar Blade's jiggle physics.
Woo! Nice. Which way, Western man?
Which way, indeed. And that is the voice of the host of Large Popcorn and video producer at DualShockers, Christian Macias, at _ISO Christian.
Lisan al-Gaib. Sorry, I forgot that I had bought tickets to End of Evangelion in theaters this Sunday. And I had to look up what time that was at. But I'm back with my undivided attention. Hi.
Hell yeah. We're glad to have you back. And the heroic Helldiver and fellow Spartan, Gage Dempster, is not with us this week. He will return. But thank you to everyone who's watching us live and participating in the chat. Just as a reminder, we are live each and every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on youtube.com/@podcastpxn and twitch.tv/podcastpxn as well. The topic of the show this week, guys, is our 2024 canceled video games. We're going to talk about all the games that have already been canceled just 3 months into the year. Awful. Of course, that's on the back of thousands of layoffs. That's just awful. So we will have that for you in the topic of the show. But first, the show always starts with the quick bites. So let's go ahead and jump right in. And the quick bites. Oh, what is that? Attention. We have a special Super Earth broadcast commencing, ladies and gentlemen. It has come to the attention of the Ministry of Truth that propaganda showing bugs flying is being posted everywhere, all over the super web. We are here to inform the good people of Super Earth that you are being brainwashed by extremist bug sympathizers. We will not allow these sympathizers to spread their propaganda any further. These images and videos you have seen all over the superweb have been manipulated by these people. Every citizen deserves to know the truth that bugs simply cannot fly. Go forth and continue the fight for democracy.
That was incredible.
I think Dan just read from the thing, right?
I just read from my script that I wrote before the show.
Oh, you wrote it? I thought it was from like a tweet somewhere.
I took some of pieces of what. Yeah. But yes, I wrote the rest of it.
That was a good bit, Daniel. I like that. That was awesome.
Hell yeah. And the people on the live stream were hearing the Helldivers music. I didn't play it for you guys, but the warning alarm is a new alert that I put into the Discord.
Just for this?
Yeah, just for that. So you guys could hear it. I was hoping to see your reaction to that.
How awesome that this is a thing, by the way.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
I'm gonna continue the bit and say, yeah, what are you talking about? It's fake. Yep. It's not real.
It's not real.
I'm gonna break the bit for a second and say that when I first saw this posted, I was gonna share it. And then I saw all the comments saying like, "Oh, it's fake. Like this isn't real. You're like this is lies." I believe that now. I was like, "Oh, it's just a Photoshop." And then I woke up this morning and I learned that this is just part of the bit. The company that Arrowhead's doing. Awesome.
Very cool. Very cool. They're doing some cool stuff over there.
Which, by the way, no. Oh, sorry. I'll save it for what you got for me. Sorry.
Oh, speaking of bugs, we got a look at Empire of the Ants at GDC 2024. It's a bunch of ants.
Yeah, it's a strategy game running in Unreal Engine 5. Where you like it has photorealistic graphics, and you play as bugs in this obviously microscopic world. Uh, there's nothing here. I just think it's a funny trailer.
Just a bunch of ants. That spider is terrifying though.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
It does look
Wait until
really
you start
pretty.
until all the ants start going up against maggots.
Oh god.
Oof.
It's impressive though, what I'm looking at here. Like the scale of it looks pretty cool.
Indeed.
Empire of the Ants coming this year. Get on your fantasy draft, guys.
Steam wish list. Boom. All right. Moving on the quick bites. Activision QA workers have formed the largest U.S. video game union. Around 600 workers completed their vote with the results certified today. Another win for video game unions. So that's very cool.
Absolutely.
Hopefully can start to push back on all these layoffs that we keep seeing.
Great. Oh man. Can you imagine that a new trend starts and it's just unions instead of layoffs? That'd be great.
Yeah.
That would be a hot trend.
That'd be great.
I'd get behind it.
Hell yeah. And what else can we get behind? We can get behind PUBG coming to Unreal Engine 5. They are making the switch to the newest engine, of course, getting destructible environments and more features coming this year. I don't know if you guys are, well, no, I know you guys are not playing PUBG. I'm not playing PUBG either, but this is maybe good for those fans that are still playing it. Get a little polish on this, you know?
Definitely.
I mean, there's.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. There's still a lot of concurrent players.
Yeah,
I'm just not one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly what I was going to say. I'm just surprised that I'm great that they're still getting support. That's more than recent games that have come out after it that are live service have gotten. So that's cool that it's still being supported after all this time.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. Very cool. I think Fortnite made a similar move to Unreal Engine 5 a couple years ago when it first came out. So glad to see it. Glad to see it. Our next quick bite. Multiverses has an official launch date, a returning launch date of May 28th. It is coming to all the platforms with full crossplay and cross progression support. So it is coming back. Very cool. Oh, they also moved to Unreal Engine 5 as well with improved visuals. So that's very cool.
I enjoyed playing it when I thought it was out.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it's coming. I mean, we talked about this when I realized it was a beta the first time. But yeah, I'm hopefully it gets its audience because I had a good time the first go around.
I'm with you, Ro. I was another one that was also impressed by it. I thought it was fun. So, very cool. The next quick bite. Todd Howard has apparently told producers on the Fallout TV show on Prime to not include a bunch of things that are being planned for Fallout 5. So Todd continues to talk about Fallout 5 when it's still probably 10 years away, maybe. I don't even know if Todd's going to be there at that point. The dude's pretty old at this point. I love you, Todd, but you're getting up there in age, brother.
What are you saying? He's going to die?
No, retire. I'm saying retire. Yeah. Maybe he won't. Maybe he won't, you know?
Yeah, maybe he will die.
No.
That is a crazy thing to just utter.
I'm joking. I hope he lives a long life.
Jeez. Miyamoto is still going strong, and I think he's pretty getting up there too.
I was just thinking about the old guard at Nintendo. I think there was an interview somewhere where essentially they're starting to hand off, production to like the new guard now, like with these like more recent titles. Like they're getting ready for like these people are either getting to an age where they're going to retire. Legends are going to retire and or tragically, maybe, hopefully not, pass away. So yeah, all the legends that we've kind of grown up with in the games industry are getting older. We all are.
Time, the never-ending battle with time. Moving on, the next quick bite. The finals is getting a new 5v5 mode and private matches and much more, which I'm going to dive into here. So it's getting a big update, and they're getting Power Shift, which is the new 5v5 game mode, and it's perhaps the biggest change. This is coming from The Verge. It sees two teams of players fighting it out to control a platform, very King of the Hill-esque, to score points. The platform itself will tear through the environment and can be rocked by objects and abilities. In this mode, players can even switch between light, medium, and heavy builds to better compete against the enemy team. Speaking of the three different classes, Embark Studios is introducing new weapons and abilities for its light, medium, and heavy classes. There are a mix of abilities here that are bound to create entirely new ways of interacting with the destructible environment. Players picking the medium class will get access to new dematerializer ability that lets you temporarily erase walls or ceilings, insane, allowing you to shoot through areas before closing up the hole you've created. Mediums will also get a new data reshaper tool that lets you change enemy mines into chairs or enemy turrets into a table. Nice. Heavies will get an anti-gravity cube that manipulates gravity so that anything inside of it will start immediately floating. And yes, that includes the cash box. So that's going to make stealing cash all the more interesting. Lights get a gateway deployable portal, allowing you to quickly transport between two locations. So basically like a teleporter. And anyone, including enemies, can use the portal. So make sure you use your portals responsibly. New weapons include a 93R burst fire machine pistol for lights, a FAMAS burst assault rifle for mediums, and a KS-23 slug shotgun for heavies. And then they talk about the theme and all that, but that's all the content. Lots of good stuff coming to season 2 of the finals tomorrow.
I was comparing this season announcement with the season announcement of Battlefield 2042. Season 7 got announced this week as well. It's called Turning Point, and the culmination of Battlefield is that there's 2 new maps. I do like they're inspired by old Bad Company and Battlefield 2 maps. That's great, but essentially it boils down to some new not operators, what they called in Battlefield, specialists, some new guns and new vehicles, obviously the 2 new maps, and that's essentially it. Comparing this to the finals update with a new game mode, but more importantly, like introducing mechanics that fundamentally change the way you interact across all game modes, I think is fundamentally more interesting, I think, to me, than what Battlefield is currently doing, which makes me a little bit sad because I used to love Battlefield for what it used to be and what it's a little bit sad for what it's turned into. But I love to see smaller companies who are wanting to make cool things continuing to make cool things, and it's cool to see the finals actually stick around after now a couple months post launch.
Yeah, I agree. And yeah, the equipment is or the new abilities is definitely the alluring part, I think, as well. That thing that just eliminates walls and then goes back to being a wall, that's just insane to me. Crazy. We got a new game announcement. Nobody Wants to Die, a new detective noir game, adventure game, set in New York City in 2329 has been announced, and we got a first trailer and some details behind it as well. In Nobody Wants to Die, you play Mortality Department Detective James Cara as he puts his life on the line pursuing a serial killer targeting the who's who of New York City in the early 24th century. It's all complicated by the fact that, as Critical Hit explains, technology has advanced to offer humans eternal life, allowing consciousness to be stored in memory banks or transferred from one body to another. That is, if you can afford the subscription. Incredible.
Yeah, I saw this announcement come through IGN. I think IGN
Yes.
had the breaking exclusive on this. I was like, how would I put this? This almost did nothing for me. I like the premise. It sounds cool, but to me, it was like essentially another CGI trailer from a studio that I still can't find much information about, which I would want to see more before I start to get excited, because it sounds cool. I like obviously dystopian, very cynical, futuristic aspects of games that meditate about that within humanity. That stuff is like my allure with a lot, like across all media. But I want to see how it comes together as a game. So as a revealed trailer like this didn't really work for me, but I'm happy to see how it changes once we get like gameplay and stuff. Tell me more. Tell me more.
I hate that they announced with the CG trailer, because it's like it's coming this year, so like maybe you should have something more. Yeah,
or have something more. Yeah,
like I'm between two things right now. One, I like actually that it was announced independently on its own through IGN, as opposed to thrown into a, like, I don't know, some kind of press conference thing, like a state of play or whatever, because it would get lost in the shuffle if that was the case. It would look cool, sure, but like we'd forget about it. And now we're covering this as like an item for us to talk about like during the week. You know what I mean? Like, on its own. That's one. But also, I don't know, maybe going with like a Game Informer and doing more of a deep dive into it across the span of a week may have been a bit more alluring, because I do want to know more about it. And if it is coming out this year, maybe some more details would have been nice, or hold on to it for maybe like a month or so later when you want to reveal more.
yeah. I think I felt the same way about the trailer as Christian did. Like it didn't really do that much, but it's because it's the CGI trailer, and it's because we don't know the studio that well. I like the screenshots that they provided in the article, though. Those looked kind of cool, and it's because they're gameplay screenshots. You're getting even more of a taste of what the game's going to be like than even the trailer showed off in some of these pictures. So yeah, I'm excited to see more as well from this game. It looks cool. I'm excited to see if the CGI trailer is going to be anything like the actual game.
I'm so happy you brought up the screenshots, because I almost forgot about them, because those do look cool, and it reminded me of being excited when I saw the screenshots from, what is it, that game company?
Oh yeah,
is it that game? Like that's who did Inside and Limbo? That game company?
No, that's
that
Flower
was
and
I'm sorry. Yeah, that's Flower and Journey.
Playdead, yeah.
Right. That's Playdead. Thank you. Seeing screenshots from Playdead's new game, that was exciting. And they posted nothing, and it was just art of the gameplay, and like that was enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And we also are familiar with Playdead, so we know even if they did a CGI trailer, which I'm glad they didn't, but I get exactly what you're saying. It's them having a history of making great games that they could just drop a few screenshots and like, yeah, I'm ready for this, as opposed to like a new studio showing us a CGI trailer with not as much history. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We shall find out this year, maybe, unless it gets delayed.
Oh no.
Something that won't get delayed, though, maybe. I don't know. Super Mario. We got some Super Mario news. So apparently a Lego Mario Kart was announced and is releasing in 2025. They announced this on Mario Day, and I kind of freaked out initially, because I was like, wait, does this mean Nintendo's next mainline Mario Kart game is gonna be Lego-fied? And then Christian was like, "No, you dumb." And Christian didn't say this, but
I didn't say that.
No,
Yeah.
you didn't say this. I'm putting words in your mouth, but he said no. It's the Lego set for Mario Kart, and I was like, "Oh, I'm a dumbass."
Oh man. No, they did like a regular Super Mario set with Lego, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I guess it's just the next step. But of course, the Nintendo fans always theorizing that this might line up or be close to the next Mario Kart release for the Switch 2. who knows?
Good point.
But that could be cool.
I
too.
believe that. Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
working on that game for a long time. There was news, like a year and a half ago, saying that like the next Mario Kart is like the most ambitious Mario Kart game yet, whatever that means. Like they're doing something revolutionary with that series. It would make sense to like have the next Mario Kart be like at launch with the next Switch game, because we haven't seen a Mario Kart game since the naissance, whatever, the birth of the Switch. Launch. Daniel, go ahead. Sorry, you have an idea.
And that wasn't even for the Switch. It was like a
Yeah, sure. It was like
version. Yeah.
exactly.
Mario Kart Ultimate.
Oh god, everybody's
Boom.
here.
Everyone's here. All the levels are
That's-
here. Everything's
That's cool, but to me, that's not as revolutionary as I'm thinking. You know what I mean?
well, that's just one part of it, you know?
Fair
That's
enough.
just- yeah. It's just a selling point.
Yeah. Put it on the back of the box. All right, we got one other piece of Nintendo news, which I know me and Ro are going to be excited for. Christian, maybe not so much, but Nintendo and Illumination have announced a sequel to the Super Mario Brothers movie, and animation starts very soon for an April 3rd, 2026 release date in theaters.
Nice.
Nice.
I liked the Illumination film. There was a little bit too.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, it's the
Popcorn.
holder.
Popcorn holder.
Nice.
Yeah.
Not as cool as the Dune one, but yeah, I think most of us.
Yeah, I can't fuck that one.
Yeah. Oh, God, I think most of us, even if we enjoyed the movie, like I think me and Dan enjoyed the movie, I think we could all agree that we kind of hoped a different studio got
Right.
it than Illumination. Maybe it would have been a little bit deeper than what we got, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time, and I'm glad they're making more. That just means more fun times for me at the theater. Maybe they'll go a little bit deeper with the sequel. Maybe they'll have a bit more fun with it. But we'll see. I think the animation, the art style of it was enough for me to enjoy it. I felt like really entertained by just seeing Mario animated like that.
And the
I'm
Easter
down for more.
eggs.
And the Easter eggs, yeah, that was another discourse online. But yeah, it was fun. I had a good time.
Remember that time I sent you guys like 2-minute back-to-back VMs on Twitter about the Legend of Zelda movie produced by Sony?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one where I wish somebody else got it. Oh God.
Hiya. That was terrible Zelda. Or Link, I mean.
Wow, that was Link?
Link, yeah.
Yeah, move on to the next topic. That's crazy.
Oh, man. Well, new studios have been announced. So, you know, from the ashes, we must rise. I don't know. Oh, wait, wouldn't it be that we're excited about new studios, right?
Are we?
Okay. Oh, crickets. Former developers from id Software, Naughty Dog, and Gearbox, plus more, have formed Empty Vessel Games. The team is focusing on creating immersive shooter experiences and is working with music composer Mick Gordon from the Doom series, of course, and Wolfenstein. So, got a lot of maybe talent behind them with all those studios and Mick Gordon. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
We'll have to see what happens indeed.
The second new studio we have, Stig Asmussen, who is the director of Star Wars Jedi series, both Survivor and Fallen Order, and God of War 3, has announced his new studio as well, which is called Giant Skull. His team is planning on a AAA single-player focused action-adventure game utilizing Unreal Engine 5. So obviously he's well-versed with the adventure games, single-player adventure games, action-adventure, so we'll see what happens.
I think Lucy James yesterday, because I think both of these news items dropped yesterday. Is that correct?
I
I
think
remember,
so, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I think there was one more, or maybe it was just the two, but I thought it was three. Lucy James tweeted like, "I guess today is just like announce your new studio day," and it got me thinking like, obviously mainstream games industry jobs are pretty volatile right now. We're seeing closures constantly. We have been for the past year or so, especially this year. And it got me thinking like, it's kind of nice to see outliers existing within the game space where like, yeah, there are a lot of talent within the games industry leaving to form their own, because why would you be beholden to the likes of someone that owns you or have to speak or answer toward shareholders? And it's kind of cool to see things like this happen. Like, I don't know what Empty Vessel is going to make, or like what it's going to look like, if it'll all jive with it, but at least they're forming their own path to actually do the thing outside of the current norm of like AAA gaming, which stuff like that is kind of nice to see. We hope we get the best from them.
I think every time I see one of these, I get a little. I think I'm a little cynical because we haven't seen, because of how the industry is right now, with all the layoffs and the closers, as you were saying. But it is interesting to think that even though with all these layoffs are happening and legendary studios are closing and big names are starting to leave, like these could be those legendary studios in the future, which is kind of exciting too. Even though we're sad about all the studios closing now, maybe in 10 or so years, these studios are like, I don't know, the Playdeads and the Naughty Dogs of the future, which is exciting to think about. But of course, we don't want anybody to lose their jobs or anything like that. But like Christian said, I'm glad that there are people like this still creating, even though everything looks so dire right now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw that last gen with Respawn when, Activision basically forced out some Infinity Ward people, and they went and created Respawn and have been doing very well. Some good stuff for EA. So cool. Our next quick bite. Overwatch's Cowboy Bebop skins, right? Are very expensive. We were talking about in our DMs. Christian, do you remember how? $25?
So they're $25 per skin, and someone, replied and said you could get the Blu-ray box set of the entire Cowboy Bebop for the price of one skin, which. Yeah, Activision. I don't know who's in charge of prices at Overwatch, but they've been so bad for years.
Yeah.
Also, let us not forget that this is just funny. I mean, it's sad, but it's funny. Somebody tweeted like, let us not forget that Overwatch fired multiple of their art department, hired animators for their announcement of the Cowboy Bebop skins. The animation was fucking great. It looked so cool. And then you see what was actually made by the bare bones team there, and it's just like they had to make these quickly, and they're just not up to expectations from what the animation announced.
Yeah, not even. I agree with that, but it's not even like in comparison to their older skins too. Like I love the Overwatch skins because of the artists that were there before. So it is sad that this one collaboration with the amazing animation that you mentioned got these kind of lackluster skins, especially the I forget his new name, the Cassidy skin, the Cowboy Bebop Spike skin was like completely different from what the animation looked like. But yeah, the $25 piece for a skin is the sale price for, like you said, for the Cowboy Bebop DVD, the entire first season, the only season. But the original price is $59.98, right? For like if it wasn't on sale. And to get all the skins in Overwatch, I think is still more expensive than the original price for this, which is it's insane. That's crazy. Just buy it. Just watch the show instead. May as well.
You could buy Helldivers and I think maybe the premium Warbond for the price of 2 skins.
Or you could do that. Yeah, that sounds better.
Just don't tell us that bugs are flying, because they're not. Very cool. Very cool.
That's very cool.
I don't know why. I'm always used to saying very cool at the end of it. Yeah, not very cool. Sorry. Fuck. Good thing it wasn't something worse that I just was saying very cool to. Fuck me. My transitions. You know what? Transition to the next story. Good news for video essay fans. What do you got, Christian?
Oh, you're gonna just delegate to me, huh? Yeah, Lost in Colt. They're like, how would you put it? They're like an independently run, fan-funded magazine, I guess, book, if you want to call it. Like every couple of months, they'll put together like a collection. Like they'll analyze one thing. Maybe like 1 year, I think it was like Shadow of the Colossus. 1 month, one issue was like Shadow of the Colossus or something, and they'll have like dozens of people write just beautiful essays about them. There's like commissioned art pieces, whatever, what have you. And then the newest edition coming out this summer is one all about Jacob Geller, a video essayist from YouTube. And they have people from all throughout the industry analyzing his essays. So there are essays about his essays. And then there's also like this is the fastest selling Lost in Colt ever. By far the most they've funded since they started doing this. And then the deluxe edition, which I didn't grab, I grabbed the regular edition. The deluxe has like a signed copy, art prints, and an accompanying vinyl.
Oh,
inspired by like the music he's like used in essays or something like that. I forget what it was, but a very cool thing Lost in Colt is doing.
Do you have a vinyl player, Christian?
This motherfucker. Of course.
Okay. I was just curious.
I can't point my camera over there. Yeah, I have a lot of records.
Oh yeah.
I think I didn't recognize his name, but I searched him up on YouTube. I was like, yeah, I've definitely seen some of his videos before, and he does make some really incredible stuff. That's awesome. That's pretty cool. And I checked out their website, the Lost in
Colt.
Lost in Colts, yeah. And they have the Eastward book too. And I was like, oh shit, that's cool.
Yeah.
Or it's coming. It's not out yet. But that's cool. I learned about something new today. It's awesome. Oh,
Whoa.
Christian's on.
He's on mobile now.
Hold on.
Oh, he's gonna show us
Show us the records.
his
How do
records.
Oh.
Look at that.
There.
For audio listeners, that is really cool. I like that.
And the speakers. Is he saying I can't hear Christian?
Is that a record that's in the record player that looks like striped? That's pretty.
No, this is a slip mat.
Oh, okay. It looks cool. Nice.
Dope. Oh,
Very cool. We lost Christian for a second. There he is. He's back. Welcome back, Christian. That was cool. Very cool. Almost as cool.
Technology is crazy.
Yeah. You know what's even crazier, Christian? If you used the phone app that I suggested to you, you can actually connect wirelessly and you can use just your phone. Walk with
That's
that.
true. Yeah, I forgot to look at that. Yeah, thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. But our last quick bite. We got a new look at Dune Awakening with a trailer. I believe this is the MMO game, right?
Yeah. So a while ago, the survival MMO was announced, and I was like, "This is completely the opposite of what you would want out of like a Dune game, in my opinion. Just like bastardizing everything that book and films now have to say." And then I read this like excerpts of this Polygon article, and I was like, well, hold on here. Like, okay, crafting mechanics in Dune, like whatever, like that's, I could kind of care less about base building in the desert, but there's like a heavy emphasis on survival. Like you can fly the ornithopters. They have plans, I think, for sandworm riding eventually. But here's some cool stuff. Where is it? You will have to make your own still suit, which in the lore of Dune is how you survive out in the desert. And of course, you're looking for ways to get water, obviously, to continue surviving. And it's kind of scarce. Obviously, you're out in a desert planet. And the like most brutal way what you can do to survive if you have to is drink the blood of your enemies that you've killed, extract their actual water. And then I saw like little pieces of trailers of actual gameplay. Some of it looks like your standard survival game, like, shooting a thing at a rock to extract ore or whatever to build more things. I'm whatever on that. But then I saw like sand walking and then someone like running away from a giant worm and then just gorgeous graphics in like, the twilight time of day in the desert. I'm like, okay, this is a really pretty game with maybe some cool mechanics outside of the survival based crafting stuff that maybe I kind of like a little bit less on personal taste. But yeah, I don't know. One that is like a maybe on my radar all of a sudden based on how much love they're putting actually into the game beyond just survival mechanics.
Yeah, it looks cool. The trailer looks very cool. Even like the sandworm, like you're talking about, that looks freaking nuts. It coming out of the sand with its like tendrils, like, or whatever you call those. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Into the street meets we go. We've got some new Ghost Recon details coming from Insider Gaming. The project is set in the Nayman War. It launches in 2025 or 2026, somewhere in that time span. It's going back to the first-person perspective. It's going to be a squad-based military tactical shooter, which, I mean, it's Ghost Recon, so I would hope so. And it's saying it's going to take inspiration from Modern Warfare and more. I think Gage would, if he was here right now, he would be extremely excited for it. I'd say he probably would prefer third person, but judging by his Twitter DMs, it sounds like he's still excited for it to be in first person as well.
Yeah, because at the very least, like it's still a tactical shooter, and for better or worse, like those games are still kind of fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah, squad based. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time since we've really had a decent squad based tactical shooter. I can't even think of one.
Especially if it's like PvE. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I know the Division let us all down in many ways, but it was still like gameplay wise, still pretty fun to squad up with a couple of friends and take on some enemies in New York. Extract out. Yeah.
What was it called? The Dark. That wasn't called the Dark Zone. What was the multiplayer one? The PvP area.
I think it is the
Dark Division.
Is it in the Division? Yeah.
That sounds right.
Really, the Dark Zone? Really? What's it really called?
I don't think it's the Dark Zone. I think it's something else.
It was something zone, I think, though. But whatever.
It is. It is the
really?
Dark Zone.
Is it really the Dark Zone?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Hey, my bad. I doubted you. I'll never do it again.
That's okay. I doubted myself. I was like, there's no way it's that. But okay. Yeah, I enjoyed my time with the Division 2. I haven't played. I don't think I've played this one. I might have played like a demo or like when I was on a free trial. Like, I mean, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, the original one. But yeah, sometimes I'm in the mood for that sort of thing, even if it's not like crazy in depth or anything. But yeah, I'm down for that. And it being first person kind of sucks for me personally, but it could be fun.
So Gage is getting Ghost Recon back. So, I mean, could we get some fucking update on Splinter Cell, please, Ubisoft?
Sure. Yeah, I would love one. Maybe this year. Maybe during Summer Game Fest this year, which got announced today.
Yeah, that's true. Jeff announced the date today, I think, and public tickets, and yeah, people can sign up. I guess he's trying to do his own little mini E3 event. We'll see how that goes. But all right, moving in to the PXN news of the week, guys. Our news of the week is more bad news. That's the title here. We have a total wipeout of Adult Swim games that is currently in progress by Warner Brothers, which is very sad, actually, that a bunch of game developers are having to deal with this that had their games published by Adult Swim Games. essentially Warner Brothers is coming to them saying, you got to take these games down, or we're removing them from storefronts. And that's basically it. Like, some developers have reached out to the Warner Brothers saying, are we able to like republish under our own label or whatever? And they're being turned down, which is unfortunate. And it's unfortunate for video game preservation as well, because if they're just taking these games down, they don't live anywhere. So yeah, that's not good.
Usually every Wednesday I will watch skill ups this week in games, just to catch up on things that I've missed or forgotten or learn new things. And this afternoon I learned through him that technically the developers do own the rights for some of these, and they are in a position where like they can republish if like they want to, which some people have. And in the video he talks about like someone specifically who reached out and was like, hey, they don't, obviously they don't want to do that because you would lose all the metadata and they would have to restart from scratch. However, if that's the only option, then sure, they'll have to. So he attempts to do it. The developer sends an email with like the steps on how to do it. It's 3 clicks to transfer over whatever it is, the rights thing. And he received a response saying like, no, like they won't do it because of XYZ. I forgot the reasoning one, but it was like a non-answer. Like there's no good reason why they won't do this, which is just like extremely shitty.
Yeah. Just trying to be the bad guys at this point.
Yeah, and their explanation was after he told them that it would take 3 clicks and they still refused, they claimed that it would only be fair to transfer no one's games since they can't do them all. What?
That's not how that works, man. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Off the backs of like WBD, just so stupid. I mean, they just closed down Rooster Teeth. I think last week we talked about their new position on did we even talk about that? They have a highly successful single player AAA game in Harry Potter. And what do they decide to do? Double down on live service, even though their live service game that just came out this year performed horribly.
And what was it? The Coyote game or Coyote movie that they just erased.
I am so happy that it seems like legal action will actually happen and they will get taken to court for this movie.
Interesting. Does that mean that it will come out or like come to light somehow, or?
I don't know, because I mean the trial hasn't happened,
Gotcha.
Maybe it would just make it harder for future things to get canceled like that or set a new precedent. But I do know that there is an actual final version of this movie somewhere that someone had access to, and they have threatened to leak it if
That'd
do
be
it.
Sick. Yeah.
Do it.
It tested really well. Like, people were really into it. So
I have just the idea. Post it on Twitter, the full video, because Elon will not take it down for fucking probably weeks.
Jesus Christ. Or even better, post it on PXN's YouTube channel.
Oh, well, I don't know if we want Warner Brothers coming after us.
All right, that's fair enough.
They'll sue us personally into oblivion. Yeah.
But the views, though.
The views.
You just pay them back with that money.
Yeah. Incredible. The other bit of not incredible news, Deviation Games has been shut down. Of course, they were formed by former Call of Duty veterans and had been developing a AAA original IP for PlayStation. I believe they had announced that it was a multiplayer game as well. So another studio closes, and very sad. Very sad.
Wish I could cite whoever I saw tweet this, but this morning I saw someone tweet talking about like, hey man, like Guerrilla's supposed live service game has been in development for like nearly 6 years now. Like there's a chance that could get canceled at some point if it doesn't come together, which would be a huge shame. I mean, I don't know. I think when we talked about it, we weren't very impressed by the leaked images, and that we saw. But who knows how it would actually end up coming together. But yeah, long-winded way to say this sucks. Sucks to see them bot and then not even get to release their their first game.
What's interesting to me is how much PlayStation has continued to rely on their single player games, and yet they still continue to be successful. Like their multiplayer projects are very few and far between. Like Helldivers, of course, is co-op, but like it's been a long time since we've gotten a proper PlayStation multiplayer game, I feel like.
I'm gonna state right now where I'm currently so, I guess, exasperated, just absolutely down on PlayStation's current business model. I am not happy with the output in terms of creativity from their teams. Where like, a couple of years ago, we used to laud their practice of like, the studios get pretty much free roam to develop the titles that they want to make. And that I think fosters like a healthy workplace. Yeah, the studios get to decide what they want to make because that makes it so that your developers are happy and are excited about coming to work and releasing a product. And now, I think about what games have released in the past couple of years, and they're kind of all, I don't want to say the same game because it's like a talking point people like to throw out. It doesn't really mean anything, but it's a lot of the same titles and a lot of like existing IP and not a lot of creativity that we used to get. And Helldivers is the exception. It's not even like a PlayStation owned studio. Like, yeah, they helped, they backed it. It's the double A. That doesn't really happen anymore, but yeah. It sucks to see what could potentially be something else that's exciting. Like Dan points out, like a shooter, a multiplayer game that's, that PlayStation puts out, which doesn't really happen, is canceled. And that's just, that sucks. What are you smiling at? What are you reading?
I'm reading. Glenn commented about our Ghost Recon story before. He said, although I never understand why he's excited for those games, he's not tactical whatsoever. Talking about Gage. And then Gage just appeared just now and said, I have no context for Glenn's comment, but I know for a fact he's talking shit about me. I just thought that's funny.
Nice.
God.
Anyways, sorry to derail what you were on.
Now, whatever, you hate me.
No, I was listening to you. I saw him comment and I was like, well, there you go. Anyways, PlayStation's trajectory Christian's not happy with. You better be listening, Sony.
They don't care what I think as long as they make money.
Yeah, every company, unfortunately, sadly. All right, fantasy draft check-in, gents. Let's see if we have any history. We do. The good old Roshan Warner with Romana. Wait, is that right? Romana Flowers Gaming. Ramona Flowers Gaming. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have acquired a game. It's called Pepper Grinder for a bid of $5.
$5 Roonies. Yeah. I wish I could tell you the logic behind this one. I don't remember. Oh yeah, Pepper Grinder. Okay, yes. I saw a trailer and I really liked it. A lot of people seemed excited about it. I think I saw this at Steam Next Fest a while ago, but I think I saw a Switch trailer that made me like, okay, this looks like it's going to be fun, and it's coming out soon. So yeah, I drafted it. It looks fun.
Hell yeah. Hopefully it gets negative points.
Hopefully it gets enough reviews.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I don't know either. I don't know either.
Might be a good counter pick.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, good.
I've already filled both of my counter picks with Gage's games, so from last week.
Oh boy. I still need to do that.
Yeah. Just pick 2 from Gage's list. Just close your eyes. I mean, you'll probably get 2 good ones. Just kidding, Gage.
I can't pick Dragon's Dogma.
Oh, that's
No,
true.
yeah, absolutely
No.
not.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be interesting.
The other one, maybe.
Yeah, there might be a couple more on there that I could pick if I had 2 more spots, but Anyways.
I think the last time I was no, why would I discuss my strategy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. We should mention also Rise of the Ronin had previews this week. A lot of them pretty happy with what they've played so far. Some of them more mixed.
What?
But that has come. Yeah.
No, they can't be mixed. They got to be all positive.
And unfortunately, not all of them were positive. Some were kind of down on their time we spent with the game. But
well, shit.
Yeah. I mean, I expect this game will do pretty good.
Like, we talking 9? Get pretty good, or 9.5?
I'm going to guess you're going to get in the high 70s for
Fuck.
OpenCritic.
That's not as good as I was hoping.
It's not good enough.
Hey, I mean, anything can happen. We don't know.
That's true. That's true. Make sure that Christian doesn't review this game. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. Halo the Series weekly check-in, episode 6. Gage isn't here. I'll just say real quick. There was one particular scene that I thought was really cool and involved priests that are a part of the Covenant. And this was really cool because in the games, there is a hierarchy that kind of sort of mimics like religion, like in like the dichotomy of a religion and all of that. And I thought it was very, very smart of them to include this new class of character called priests, which fits into that, ecosphere, or whatever you want to call it, of like that religious zealot group or whatever of the Covenant. I thought it was very cool, and that whole scene was very cool. Without spoiling anything, some elites were going ham in there. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, that's it. That's the weekly check-in for Halo the Series. Join us next week for second to last episode. Moving in to what you got for me. Daniel, what do you got for me? I've got not really much of anything. I went back to Master Chief Collection a little bit and played some of that with a play date on Saturday, I think. So that was fun with some community members. That was cool. And played more of the finals with Gage. That's it. So, yeah. Bro, what you got for me?
I'm going to say the thing this week. I played nothing, unfortunately. Busy with school, busy with work, busy
That's
with
fair.
Video stuff.
Very fair. Your channel's killing it, though. Doing very well.
Thanks.
Hell yeah. Gage is yelling at me in the chat, Arcane. Yes, okay. I finished Arcane, and it was fucking awesome.
Oh, you finished it?
Yes, I finished it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, once I got to episode 7, right? There's 9 episodes. Once I got to episode 7, I watched 7, 8, 9. I was like, I gotta finish this now. It was very good. I loved the finish, and even Gage and I were talking about it, and Gage talking about how crazy it is that spoiler alert, if you haven't watched Arcane, skip the next like 30 seconds or so. I thought it was very cool. He was talking about how Jinx's name like is very closely associated with like her personality. Like she is a Jinx. Like that last shot of the series or season shows like she's a Jinx. They were voting on peace, and then kaboom. It's like yeah.
So close. So close.
So close. Very good show though. Love the animation. Oh, so good. Christian, what you got for me?
Yeah, I put a handful of things. I tried out the new update for Helldivers, although by the time this releases on audio platforms, there's another new update that comes out tomorrow for the new season, the start of the season, new Warbond. I don't know what's exactly it is, but there's another update. My point is that I played after like some balancing tweaks that the developers had post. What would you call it? The environmental random elements that were introduced.
Mm.
I did not see a fire tornado. I did not see the quote and more end quote. But I did. We started a mission, and immediately there was already a meteor shower ongoing. And I threw down my stratagem for the mech, because everyone gets mechs now during these like orders. Everyone just has it as an extra stratagem. Called it in. Before I even called in, a meteor landed on me, killed me. So, first 30 seconds of the game, I'm dead. I get reinforced. I get in my mech. Another meteor hits, and it explodes the right arm. So I no longer have my machine gun.
What?
I only have my rockets. I'm shooting the rockets, and there was a like bug breach near us, and a bunch of bugs like climb on top of my mech and scratch at me, and my mech catches on fire. I exit my mech, and before I can do that, I'm just dead from burning. I didn't even get a chance to like dive and get the fire off me. I died like 3 or 4 times in the span of minutes, just like with the meteor shower and all these like bug breaches and my mech exploding on me. It was brutal. And then the rest of the game with the new tweaks, like they did a lot of balancing changes with the guns, and I was trying some new stuff out. And not that I would use a meta, but obviously like running the railgun and the shield were like the best in the game. Now it's like not really the case. It's they made it so like they are encouraging of different loadouts to expand on what you're actually bringing to a battlefield, and it made for more exciting gameplay because no one is running the same thing anymore, and makes for a harder experience. There's more tweaks incoming. They're buffing some other stratagems, like the rocket can now one-shot a charger to the face, which is cool. You only get one rocket though, which that's the trade-off. But yeah, it was a lot of fun going back to Helldivers and being like, man, now it feels like I'm actually in the shit again, which I haven't felt for a while. So made the game more challenging, which is, I think, a good thing. We also played a little bit of Battlefield 2042, which was very cool. I got a very high kill snipe game, which is nice. And then more Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, both for my own pleasure and for work. And it's 30-something hours in, and you know what? Still a very good game. I like it a lot.
Hell yeah. Why do I always forget games that I play until other people go? Like, I forgot we played Battlefield, and you said that. I was like, oh, yeah, we did play Battlefield. Shit.
No.
Yeah, that was insane. You got, like, fucking, what, 40, 50 kills and only 4 deaths?
It was 1 death, and it was near 50 kills.
Yeah, that's insane.
High 40s, yeah. That spot I had for this with the sniper was awesome. I got some good clips.
Yeah.
A lot of headshots too.
Insane. Cracked. If you need a sniper, call Christian. All right. Moving into the topic of the show, guys. We already have a ton of canceled games for 2024. So I thought we would go over them briefly and then talk about them. Many of them we've already talked about on the show before and when they were, canceled. But one of them is a newly canceled game, so we'll talk about that first in greater depth. And that game is Spider-Man: The Great Web, which we learned a little bit about today. So Spider-Man: The Great Web was apparently a canceled multiplayer game. It was supposed to be a 5-person multiplayer game built on a live service foundation, but it was struck down by Sony as revealed by the Insomniac leaks. In the leaked trailer, however, which we got to look at today, which looks incredibly polished. This is coming from Insider Gaming. I'm reading from them. We get a glimpse of what the product may have looked like. In the short trailer that was leaked online, it's exposed in full with the video showcasing incredible multiplayer elements that would have pitted 5 players against the Sinister Six in New York City. It would have been built around a multiverse model, which was supposedly busted open by Scarlet Witch, and there would have been character customization options leading to a diverse array of superheroes coming together to fight the big bad guys. Here's some dialogue from the trailer. New York City. Nothing in the whole world I wouldn't do for this big, beautiful apple. One moment you're scarfing down a slice from Vinny's, the next you're stopping a supervillain prison break. Sometimes you can swing it as a lone wolf, but you're way better off with some friends. I've seen the Sinister Six before, but never so methodical, so savage. I don't think I'm going to be enough this time, guys, but together, we just might be. So I don't know if you guys saw the trailers already. I guess Christian, you or Ro, one of you posted additional footage, which I had not seen until you guys showed this, but it's showing off some destructible environments fighting Venom throughout the city, which these destructible environments look really cool, actually.
And there's also leaked image promo material of rideable motorcycles that you can also swing with around the city.
Ooh.
Yeah, in addition to that. I would like to not go first on my thoughts.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can go first. I don't know. I don't know how I feel after watching the trailer. I think everything that was said and everything on paper, everything that I thought this game could be before I saw that trailer sounded awesome. And there's some parts of it that I do think are cool. But I don't know if I'm as distraught as I used to be about it being canceled. Like I don't know if I would get into this. I like the idea of swinging around New York City with your friends. I just don't know how the gameplay would turn out after what I saw. Like what I saw with like Gwen and Miles taking down Venom didn't look super fun to me, and maybe it's because there's more than one person. They can't streamline that combat that feels so good in Spider-Man with two people, but they did that with, I guess they kind of already did do that, but it was still single player. I don't know, it's hard to, obviously it's hard to tell how it plays out without playing it, but after seeing that trailer, I wasn't really sold that this needed to be a game to come out, but I like the idea of it. So maybe a little bit more time. Again, this is a leaked trailer, maybe they did polish it to make it look better. I don't know, but I like the idea, but I don't know if the execution was there for me personally.
I think I agree with you. Like, I think the principle of the game is the issue. The fact that it's a live service game and you're going up against the Sinister Six, but it's like you're saying, I don't know how they would make the fights interesting enough for 5 people. You're going against Venom. Are all 5 of you punching Venom at the same time? I don't see how that quite would work that well. I struggle to think about how they would have made that work with Spider-Man's fighting system. I don't know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Christian. Yeah.
I'm with you too. I saw this and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm actually really happy. Like, yeah, there was Insomniac is too busy, I think, for their own good a little bit, and in a lot of ways. They've got Wolverine. It sucks that so much of that game got leaked, but there's still a lot that they need to finish in that game. They're kind of heads down on Wolverine. We know there's a Spider-Man 3 on the way. We know at the end of Spider-Man 2, we know there might be a new side story on the way. And Ratchet and Clank is still, up in the air as a possibility for them to explore in that universe post Rift Apart. So they got a lot on their plate, especially if you consider that they were working on this all the while as well. Just kind of seeing if this would come together. And I'm kind of glad that it's the same thing as Naughty Dog, where maybe I'm a little bit disappointed with factions not coming together, but that's only because the details surrounding that game did sound promising, and they wanted to include a substantial narrative within a multiplayer world, and I think for Naughty Dog doing that, that would have been kind of exciting. Off the backs of Spider-Man 2, with for me personally, a disappointing narrative, and then considering how strong 2018's was, I don't know if a live service for me would have been the right move, especially in how I just talked about, in a place where Sony is doing so much of these live service games and making them a lot with their established IP. I don't think that would have been inspiring for me to see. I think it would have been disappointing, actually, to be now we're getting a live service Spider-Man game, and suddenly we have a bunch of live service games now coming out from their major studios. It's okay, well, there's only so much time in my day that I want to spend on a live service product. And even still, like, if you're gonna have your S tier talent be working on a game, I don't know, man. I kind of think that Spider-Man's bread and butter is still the narrative side of gaming, and to see like a narrative world that I like, which is Spider-Man, a lot of us like, be kind of relegated to more of a just smash them up with 5 friends. Yeah, sure, it could be cool, but I don't know if it's what I would want to see. So I was like, okay, kind of glad it didn't end up coming together, because maybe the team realized that it wouldn't come together the way they hoped either.
And there were so many. It's a kind of a hit or miss thing depending on who you ask. But there are so many cool Easter eggs in Spider-Man 2 that were introduced via the story, and I guess that fans really liked. And for potentially Cindy Moon, spoilers for Spider-Man 2, potentially Cindy Moon being in the next game or having her own game, to have this potentially released before or in between that to be her introduction is like, oh man, that kind of sucks. And even Gwen Stacy, like, it's kind of sucks. You could have had your own game, could have been in one of these games, but you're relegated to like a live service sort of dumbed down version of the character, which has happened before in other series and live service games. Like, I really wish they had their own game instead of being in this right now. Yeah, like that could have been something that they thought of as well. Is like, we should really give these characters a little bit more care instead of just putting them in here. Like Miguel is in here too. It's like, it'd be cool to see their own games.
Indeed.
Before this, at least, like this could be cool down the line, but like give the characters a little bit more respect before you do something that is so tied to not respecting characters.
Right. Yeah, like you would think a single player game tied to the idea of like the multiverse theory, like pulling all these Spider-Man characters and women characters together in a single player narrative first would be more interesting, to like get to experiment with all of them and tell all their stories and then expand to like a multiplayer game. Yeah, that would have probably went over a little better.
And even still, like all the stuff I'm seeing from the leaked footage is just like your kind of basic combat that you would run into like in the streets of New York, like go do a crime thing and beat a bunch of thugs up, but now you have friends with you. Like I for me, like I would only want a kind of multiplayer experience if they're going to craft things that I can only do in multiplayer. If I'm going to have multiple Spider-Man taking on or multiple enemies from the Sinister Six, I want it so like one Spider-Man has to be doing something while I do something else, and not just 5 of us punching the same dude without like much thought. Like I want design around multiplayer.
Yeah. That even the idea that at the end of this game or whatever that we're talking about, the 5 of you going against the Sinister Six, that sounds super fucking awesome. So like when you get to that final climactic moment where it's 5 of you versus 6 of them, that sounds like it could be really cool, and find ways to segregate, them into different areas so that you don't have the problem of 5 Spider-Men hitting one enemy. That sounds really cool. I think, the issue is like, what do you do before you get to that moment?
Having like a Destiny raid like experience with Spider people sounds pretty dope, but like you said, like what you're doing before that.
No, but you're right though, because I can't help but think about the opening to Spider-Man Miles Morales, where you're playing as Miles riding Rhino while Spider-Man is swinging around doing other stuff. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Very cool. That's a great
Sorry,
reference.
while Peter.
That's really good. Really good. Maybe they'll chew on some ideas some more, and it'll come down the line. Yeah, nice. Incredible. So some other games, I'm gonna run through these, and then we're gonna have a little bit of discussion about these. These are ones we've talked about already on previous episodes this year. All of these are from this year, believe it or not. Well, with the last one, which is an exception, but we'll get to that. The unannounced survival game from Blizzard, of course, Microsoft laid off over 1,900 people, and one of the casualties of that was the survival game from Blizzard. It was supposed to be a new IP. So that thing no longer exists. It's gone. Of course, just a couple weeks ago, we heard from EA that the single-player Battlefield game coming from Ridgeline Games was canceled. Of course, that was Marcus Lato's studio that he started, and I was, for one, excited to see what that studio could have done with Marcus's leadership. But now, alas, no single-player Battlefield game, which I don't know about that. Fire Sprite, of course, lost its Twisted Metal game when PlayStation, I think they announced cutbacks for Fire Sprite, and that project was canceled. They didn't close Fire Sprite, right? That was just they lowered the studio count.
I think so.
Okay. I think it was just London that got shut down completely. London studio, right? That got shut down.
Yeah.
Okay. And then we got Star Wars FPS game from Respawn that was canceled. Of course, that was the game that was rumored to be a Mandalorian game, which we have learned a little bit more since then, which apparently was believed that it was not going to be the Mandalorian, but would just be a Mandalorian bounty hunter that is searching for bounties across the galaxy. So that game.
You mean like not the Mandalorian as the titular TV show Mandalorian, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
We also got word, and of course, this is part one of the Embracer madness. I don't know why that link is broken, but Embracer closed the studio that was making Time Splitters reboot, which is very sad to me because I love Time Splitters 1 and 2. So that game got canceled. And then also Embracer shut down or canceled the new Deus Ex game, which was also accompanied by, of course, layoffs at Eidos Montreal, which is the developer from Deus Ex and the developer of Guardians of the Galaxy, which is extremely underrated, and a shame that Embracer did that to that studio after they fucking purchased them from Square. But yeah, sad, very sad. And the last one, which I labeled here kind of cheating because it didn't technically come out in 2020, or the news didn't come in 2024, but it was in December, so I was like, yeah, it's close enough. The Last of Us Online, that was canceled in December. So all of these games, all canceled. I have a fun mini game that we're going to do here in a little bit. Before we do that, if we could bring one of these games back from the dead, which one is it and why? Which one would you choose? While you guys digest that, I will tell you the one I think I would love to see back from the dead if we could turn the clocks back. Turn back.
If I could...
Copyright.
Oh, true?
No,
Oops.
I'm kidding. It's fine. It's fine. Single player Battlefield game is the one that I would have liked to have seen. And the reason why is because DICE has obviously gone away from single player games. They already started to do that with Battlefield 5 and Battlefield 1 when they just had kind of vignettes, essentially, of a campaign. And then Battlefield 2042, of course, doesn't have a campaign. So it's been a long time since we've gotten a proper Battlefield game. And I was very excited at the prospect of Marcus Lato leading this brand new team to give us a single player Battlefield game. So very upset that we're not going to get that. And seemingly, I would venture to guess that DICE's next game, next Battlefield game that is rumored to be coming next year, is not going to have single player either. Seemingly it's going to be a long time before we get another Battlefield campaign experience, which is sad to me because those games used to be really awesome single player games, and it's a shame. Like, and EA was on, was quoted as saying they didn't know what made Battlefield Bad Company special. And I'm like, what the fuck do you mean you don't know what makes it special? Just play the fucking game. It's fucking amazing. Like, you could make Battlefield Bad Company 3 right now and people would be excited. Like,
Yes. Yes.
it's just
Actually, I would even just want to see like a working, maybe not a remaster, but like a port even of that game would do really well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been thinking about a lot about Bad Company Vietnam the past 2 weeks.
Yes, that was a great expansion. Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it was very easy to come up with mine. I talked a lot this episode about how I'm disappointed in the PlayStation lineup and I want new ideas and new things. And yet I say all this, and I really think Naughty Dog deserved a chance with The Last of Us Online. Only because I think in my mind, based on what I've read and what I believe to be true, is that they had a product that did not fall in line with the live service plan that Sony had in mind, especially with like Bungie coming to oversee. Like from what we learned, like Bungie was not happy with the way that game was shaping out. But to be honest, I am not happy with the way Bungie is shaping its own game out, and is one of the reasons why I'm not playing Destiny, because like that model just doesn't work for me. I have faith that I think Naughty Dog could have done something special. And if the worry is like, okay, if the real worry was it is going to take too much resources to maintain this game as a live service product, then I really think scaling down would have still behooved them to like release it. And I think it still would have been received pretty well, especially if they had like a narrative that they wanted to do with this game set in San Francisco. I think having a smaller team stay on that for like, I don't know, it doesn't have to be forever, but like a year or two to like continue to lay out like expansions or, work on the game post launch, I think would have done a lot to eventually prepare for the, one day we will get The Last of Us Part 3, and having a team that has like worked on that and that has iterated on, Last of Us combat or engagements and taking what they learned and putting it into a Part 3, I think would have been really cool. Especially considering that it would have been also a take on an extraction shooter set in the Last of Us universe. I think could have been a lot of fun and kind of defied expectations for what The Last of Us Online could have looked like. And it's kind of sad that just completely cancel that game altogether. I had faith in it.
Yeah, I agree. And I still think we're going to get pieces of it in The Last of Us Part 3 multiplayer. I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, sure. That's it. Yeah. They worked on it long enough that I'm sure like some ideas they won't completely scrap. That's a good point.
My answer was going to be the same, The Last of Us Online. I completely agree with everything that Christian said. So I'm going to give a different one. Out of the
Skull and
rest,
Skull and Bones.
Why didn't that get?
Yeah.
I think I would like to see this Respawn's canceled Star Wars game as well. I think that would be cool. Since we're not getting the Amy Henning one, right? She didn't come back with that. That's still
supposedly still in development, but
okay.
By the rumors, it sounds like, was it Disney that was saying that they wanted to pull licensing away from people, or I can't remember what the deal was. Because EA, maybe it was just specifically for EA, but they were talking about how they were going to charge more licensing fees or something.
Oh,
yeah.
I remember that. Okay.
But I don't know.
Even every time there is a Star Wars project announced, I always say, I'm a little Star Wars out, which I am. But I think Respawn is a really talented studio, and I think it could be a good game and a fun one to experience and play, even though, again, and this is the type of Star Wars story that I would like to play, like the not Jedi stuff. So I think I would enjoy that.
Dude, to me, like high octane Titanfall inspired shooter set in the Star Wars universe sounds, linear shooter sounds more exciting to me than what I've seen from Star Wars Outlaws so far. Like that to me, like looks like more of a trend chasing like game that we've seen, more like a copy paste kind of other games. Like yeah, it's
From
cool. We have seamless.
From Ubisoft?
From Ubisoft?
No way.
Yeah.
That never
Absolutely.
happens. Just kidding.
Oh, you got me. Yeah.
Anyway,
To me, the Mandalorian one was more inspired than what I'm seeing from Star Wars Outlaw. So that's still a good answer too, Ro. I'm with you.
Thank you. I do have a question though. Like with the unannounced survival game from Blizzard, now that that's gone, is there anything else that they have been working on? Like
Overwatch 3?
Overwatch 3. Okay, got it.
No.
Oh my god. It's like that's what I'm thinking. Is like, are they just doing Overwatch right now? Because now that is canned, they have to work on something completely different now. Like, right? I'm sure they have other teams working on their stuff, but it's like, damn, that sucks so hard.
It's going to be Overwatch 3, except you got to pay full retail price for it, and it replaces Overwatch 2, which is the free-to-play game. Completes
They're
the track
eliminating one more player. Only 4 now.
There's less of you playing, so we thought it was best.
Incredible. All right, so a real quick game. This is a real quick game. I figure we go through each of these and say whether or not these should have been canned versus not should have been canned. Spider-Man: The Great Web, should or shouldn't have?
Should. That's me. Should.
Okay.
Yeah.
We all say should. I think we all agree on that one. The unannounced survival game from Blizzard.
Shouldn't.
I'm with Ro as well. I think shouldn't.
I agree. Shouldn't. Yeah. New IP survival.
I think new IP is always good, and I think taking a big chance. 6 years in development is a long time too. Like that's a lot of resources. Like I look at the output of what Blizzard is doing currently, and I'm not really happy with what they're doing, and I think pivoting to something that's a bit more exciting, I think, could be an injection of getting some not fan feedback. What was it? Fanfare? Yeah, fanfare.
Yeah.
Back to them. Yeah.
Some goodwill, as they say.
Thank you. Goodwill. Yeah.
Hell yeah. The single player Battlefield game from Ridgeline Games.
Should not.
Should not.
Should not have been canceled.
I agree.
Yeah. Not from Ridgeline. No.
I agree. Do you agree, Ro?
Tragic.
I was saying, you guys tell me. I'm
okay.
very out of the woods on this one, so I agree. Should not have.
Yes, let's go.
I just want to see single player come back to Battlefield in some way. Like, people talk shit about like 3 wasn't as good as Bad Company 2, but it still had its moments. And Battlefield 4 again, down a less convincing campaign. I'll agree, absolutely. But again, it's still cool to witness the scale of like their destructiveness with like set pieces in games. Like that stuff is still cool to see.
Yes, agreed.
I mean, there's a character from that game in 2042 that you can play as not operator, but I'm forgetting the name of, but specialist. Yeah, come on now.
Just the scope of them. It's always very, very big. It's cool. Fire Sprite's Twisted Metal game.
Should. Sorry, should.
Ooh.
Should have been canceled. Okay. Bro?
Yay. I agree. I think it's over.
It's
In terms of live service products, this is to me like the least inspired of the bunch. Like taking an existing IP and plastering on a trend that you're probably not going to win over. Like your competition is Fortnite, and I don't know if a Twisted Metal game is going to be in that. Fortnite and Call of Duty. I don't think this has the juice to. This smart enough to just nip this one in the bud.
You could have had $20 skins to customize Sweet Tooth.
Jesus, Anthony Mackie skin.
Oh gosh. Respawn's canceled Star Wars FPS.
Should not have been.
Should not.
Agreed.
Anytime anything bad happens to Respawn, it sucks for me.
Yeah.
Sure, I didn't play the new Star Wars Jedi game because I was less inspired to play it. But like, still, they have the juice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's bring back Titanfall as well.
It's on the way. Stand by for Titanfall. Hell yeah. The Time Splitters reboot.
I can't answer this. I never played the original Time Splitters, so I don't know.
Let me answer it for you, because once I tell you this, you will, I think, be clear on one side.
Tell me.
So if it was actually like the OG Time Splitters, that would be awesome. I would be all in for this. But all the leaks that have come out of this, we've seen where like the little health indicator is very indicative of Time Splitters, just like the original, where it mimicked GoldenEye essentially, because former Rare employees went to work on that. But other than that, this game was shaping up to literally be Fortnite clone. It literally, like, there's screenshots, and I think there's video even actually, where the loot table, when someone dies, it looks exactly like when someone dies in Fortnite, where they spill their loot table on the ground, and the character models look exactly like Fortnite, and like it has a tiny little bit of Time Splitters DNA in there, but yeah, this one probably should have been canceled.
Yep. Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Not inspiring for Midos.
Yeah.
Speaking of these Fortnite clones, what happened to that? I wonder how that horror player game is going, or was that canceled?
Well, sorry, say that again.
Horizon multiplayer game that looked like Fortnite, the before,
yes,
like the in development screenshots and stuff.
But that one's like a multiplayer survival game, right?
That's true.
Or with survival light, I guess, survival elements.
Yeah. Hopefully, doing enough different to stand out.
I reckon we see that game this year. If it's not canceled, we see it this year.
And for clarity, the Time Splitters reboot was Free Radical. It's Free Radical that made that, or was making it. But
I'll do a small prediction.
Okay.
I think we see, when is Summer Game Fest? June?
Yes, June. Yep.
I think you see the Horizon thing there. Ghost of Tsushima 2 there. Santa Monica new IP in the fall at the September whatever PlayStation event.
Heard it here first.
Yeah, there's some early predictions.
I hope you're right. I want to see some Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Yeah, and you want new Naughty Dog IP this year too. Yeah, teaser.
Make sure we
just saying shit.
We lock those predictions in for when we do our actual predictions.
Yeah. We got time.
He can't change them. I'm just kidding. Oh shit! There goes my remote. Anyways, the new Deus Ex game that Eidos Montreal was working on
should not have been canceled. I have enough faith in Eidos Montreal to do something cool.
Agreed.
Especially
after Guardians of the Galaxy, that game just does not get enough credit. And the last one, which was sort of cheating, I put in here, The Last of Us Online. I think we may all agree on this as well. Should not have.
Should not.
Mm-hmm. Should not.
Make sure you tell us in the comments what you think should or should not have been canceled. We're curious. But anyways, thank you again to everyone joining us live on YouTube and Twitch, as well as podcast services everywhere, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. Thank you, Roshan. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Gage in the chat. I am Daniel, and this has been Podcast PXN, and we are out. Bugs cannot fly. Much love, and keep on gaming.
See ya. I need to say that.